Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I don't think people understand just how much the skies over China have changed, and why it matters for the entire world. For decades, Boeing was the backbone of China's rapidly expanding airline industry. The company's iconic jets, with their distinctive blue and white livery, became a familiar sight at airports across the country. Boeing's presence in China wasn't just about selling airplanes. It was about building a bridge between two economic superpowers, fostering cooperation and mutual growth. The American aerospace giant supplied the planes that connected China to the world, symbolizing a strong US-China partnership. Every takeoff and landing of a Boeing jet represented not just commerce, but a shared vision of progress and global connectivity. Boeing's aircraft, like the 737 and 787, became the workhorses of Chinese fleets, reliably carrying millions of passengers each year. The company invested heavily in local facilities, training programs, and partnerships with Chinese firms, embedding itself deeply in the nation's aviation ecosystem. The future once looked bright, with China projected to need thousands of new planes, most expected to come from Boeing. Industry forecasts predicted a golden era, with Boeing at the heart of China's aviation boom. But in recent years, this relationship has unraveled. A series of setbacks, from trade tensions to safety concerns, began to erode the trust and momentum that had defined the partnership. Chinese airlines have shifted their massive orders to Airbus, Boeing's European rival. Airbus jets now dominate new deliveries, signaling a dramatic change in the balance of power. This isn't just a business change, it's a turning point in global aviation. The choices made in China are rippling across the world, affecting jobs, technology, and the future of flight. The reasons behind China's pivot reveal deeper shifts in trade, politics, and national ambition. It's about more than airplanes. It's about control, influence, and the race to lead the skies. As of January 2026, China is actively reshaping the skies, moving away from reliance on Boeing and investing in homegrown innovation. The emergence of new players is changing the rules of the game. Let's explore why this happened, how Airbus and China's own COMAC are rising, and what it means for the future of flight, not just for China, but for the entire world. The next chapter in aviation is being written right now, and its impact will be felt for decades to come. Boeing's troubles began with the 737 MAX disasters, two crashes that killed 346 people and led to a global grounding. China was the first to ground the MAX, signaling its independence from US regulators and deep concern for safety. The grounding lasted years in China, stranding planes and damaging trust. Ongoing quality issues with other Boeing models, like the 787 Dreamliner, fueled further doubts. Chinese airlines, needing reliability, faced costly delays and uncertainty. The safety crisis and production problems gave airlines a reason to reconsider their dependence on Boeing. As they waited for solutions, they turned to Airbus to meet surging demand. Boeing's once open door in China was closing fast. The landscape of Chinese aviation was about to change. Boeing's reputation, once unshakable, was now in question. Airplane sales are as much about politics as technology. The US-China trade war made big Boeing deals politically risky for China. Airplane orders became bargaining chips in tense negotiations. As relations soured, China hesitated to make high-profile purchases from an American icon. Chinese airlines worried about future disruptions. What if the US restricted parts or support? Diversifying fleets with Airbus and domestic planes became a smart hedge. Boeing's American identity, once an asset, became a liability in a strained relationship. China saw its reliance on Boeing as a strategic risk. This realization fueled its push toward Airbus and its own aviation industry. The goal: more control, less dependence on US technology. As Boeing stumbled, Airbus seized the moment. Airbus had invested in China for years, opening a final assembly line in Tianjin in 2008. By building planes in China, Airbus became a domestic partner, not just a foreign supplier. This deep cooperation fit perfectly with China's industrial ambitions. Airbus expanded its local operations, assembling both narrow and wide-body jets. When Boeing faltered, Airbus offered reliable alternatives like the A320neo. Chinese airlines responded with massive orders. Nearly 300 A320neos in 2022 alone. Airbus benefited from Europe's more stable relationship with China. The company became the preferred supplier, transforming itself from underdog to market leader. Airbus's long-term strategy paid off, capturing China's aviation future. For decades, the skies were dominated by two giants, Boeing and Airbus, locked in fierce competition for global supremacy. But as these titans battled for market share, a new challenger quietly emerged on the horizon. COMAC, China's own ambitious aircraft manufacturer, determined to change the game. Established in 2008, COMAC, short for Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, was born from China's vision to become a major player in the global aviation industry. The company is at the heart of China's strategy to break the Western duopoly and assert its technological independence. With massive government backing and billions in investment, COMAC's mission is clear: to design and build world-class passenger jets that can compete head-to-head with the best in the world. The company has rapidly expanded its workforce, drawing on both domestic talent and international expertise. The C919, COMAC's flagship narrow-body jet, is designed to rival the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320, two of the most popular aircraft in commercial aviation. With similar size, range, and capacity, the C919 aims to capture a significant share of the lucrative single-aisle market, both in China and abroad. Developing a modern jetliner is a monumental challenge. While COMAC has made impressive progress, it still relies on Western suppliers for critical components like engines and avionics. However, the airframe and much of the assembly are proudly Chinese, showcasing the nation's growing engineering capabilities. Even before the C919 enters widespread service, its very existence has shifted the balance of power. China now has a homegrown alternative, giving it new leverage in negotiations with Boeing and Airbus, and signaling to the world that it's serious about competing on the global stage. State-owned airlines are strongly encouraged to support domestic innovation by ordering COMAC jets. This not only boosts the company's order book, but also pressures established manufacturers to offer better prices and terms to retain their foothold in the Chinese market. Today, COMAC serves as both a formidable future competitor and a powerful bargaining chip for China's aviation industry, influencing deals and shaping the strategies of its Western rivals. As China's aviation ambitions continue to grow, COMAC's role is only just beginning. The company is poised to play a central part in the nation's long-term strategy to become a global aviation powerhouse. The global market is no longer a two-horse race. With COMAC's rise, the future of aviation promises to be more competitive and more unpredictable than ever before. The C919's entry into commercial service in 2023 was a milestone for China. Backed by state orders, the C919 quickly gained a foothold in the domestic market. This home advantage ensures steady production and financial stability for COMAC. However, the C919 still depends on Western engines and avionics, a vulnerability if tensions rise. China is racing to develop its own jet engines, but independence is years away. For now, the C919's reach is mostly limited to China, lacking international certification. Gaining global acceptance will require meeting tough safety standards abroad. Still, the C919 reduces China's reliance on Boeing and Airbus and serves as a learning platform. The real test: can COMAC become a true global competitor? For now, it's reshaping China's domestic skies. The global aircraft market is now a three-way contest. Boeing and Airbus have decades of experience, global networks, and trusted reputations. COMAC is the newcomer, offering a plane similar to its rivals but backed by the Chinese state. Its market share is tiny and mostly domestic, but it's growing. Boeing and Airbus must compete for every order, while COMAC enjoys government support and a guaranteed home market. For Chinese airlines, the choice is strategic: stick with Boeing, shift to Airbus, or support the national champion. Each option involves trade-offs in politics, reliability, and risk. The decision is no longer just about the best plane, it's about national loyalty and future security. The rules of the game have changed. Airlines must now balance performance, politics, and long-term strategy. China's aviation ambitions go far beyond simply building the C919 passenger jet. What we're witnessing is the rise of a nation determined to transform itself into a global aviation powerhouse. not just by assembling planes, but by mastering every link in the aerospace value chain. The ultimate goal is a fully self-reliant aerospace industry, one that controls everything from the mining and refining of raw materials, to the design and production of advanced jet engines, avionics, and even the tiniest fasteners. This vision is about technological independence and national pride, but the biggest hurdle remains: developing a truly homegrown jet engine. Right now, China's flagship C919 still relies heavily on Western suppliers for its most critical components, especially the engines, which are the heart of any modern aircraft. The Aero Engine Corporation of China is working around the clock to close this gap. They're investing billions in research, recruiting top talent, and building state-of-the-art facilities. But catching up to decades of Western expertise will take time, possibly years, if not longer. At the same time, China is building its own regulatory standards and certification systems. The aim is to certify Chinese-made planes for export so they can fly internationally without needing Western approval, a crucial step for global expansion. If successful, this would open up vast new markets in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where demand for affordable, reliable aircraft is soaring, and Western manufacturers have long dominated. China's strategy is methodical and patient. Start by dominating the massive domestic market, then gradually move into producing wide-body jets, and finally, take on the world stage with global sales and support networks. Over time, the plan is to steadily replace every foreign component with a deployed alternative, ensuring that Chinese aircraft are truly made in China from nose to tail. The ultimate ambition: to shift the very center of global aerospace eastward, making China not just a participant, but a leader in the industry. It's a step-by-step long-term plan, one that could, in time, make China an undisputed aviation superpower, reshaping the skies for decades to come. China's shift away from Boeing marks a new era in global aviation. It's driven by Boeing's crises, political tensions, and China's quest for technological independence. The old duopoly is over. A state-backed competitor has changed the game. Boeing must now fight for every order in China, facing both Airbus and COMAC. The global market is fragmenting, with new spheres of influence emerging. COMAC will likely dominate China's skies and expand to Belt and Road countries. The aviation world is no longer just about Seattle and Toulouse. Shanghai is now on the map. Economic decisions are shaped by national security and strategy. The rise of COMAC shows China's determination to control its destiny, whatever the cost. The future of flight will be written by new players in a more complex and competitive sky.